Nancey, are you and I living in the end time?
There's no way to know. I grew up in the Catholic tradition, and the emphasis there was Jesus saying that even he didn't know when the end of the world was coming.
But a lot of people seem to.
Yes, and there are particularly interesting historical precedents for that. There was a particular movement, I've forgotten the name of it, but there is a Bible that was published and widely read called the Scofield Reference Bible. It was loaded with study notes, and the study notes provided a millennialist theology that interpreted all sorts of passages in the Bible as pointing toward a particular view of when and how the end of the world was going to come. And a remarkable number of Christians have been influenced either directly or indirectly by that.
And your view of that is that's not biblical?
That's right. The more sophisticated biblical scholars would deny almost all of the predictions, in fact, maybe all of the predictions that are purportedly drawn from Scripture about when the end of the world is going to come.
But let's be more fundamental. Do you believe there will be an end to this physical world in some God-directed way?
Yes, I do.
And do you see that in a very long period of time, a cosmological period of time, like 5 billion years when the sun burns out, or maybe 100 years when X and Y happens? What's your time frame?
Again,
order of magnitude. Give me an order of magnitude.
Okay, here's not terribly serious order of magnitude. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. The sun is going to expand and burn us all up in 4.5 billion years from now. Jesus came right smack dab in the middle of that, give or take 2,000 years. So I think we're right in the middle.
So can I interpret that to mean that you think the end of the world would, in a theological sense, will coincide, not coincidentally, with the astronomical sense? So that the end of the world will be 5 billion years in the future when the sun burns out, and so you're consistent?
I'm really being silly with that particular point. I think it depends on the question of whether there's extraterrestrial life. And for all we know, there are other planets with lifespans that will last beyond that. So there just really isn't any way to extrapolate from physical theories about the end of the planet or the end of the universe to the end of the world in theological terms. This is a point where theological discourse and scientific discourse simply have no points of convergence.
But to take a biblical worldview, you do not think that any of the conversation in the Bible or statements regarding an end time related to prophecy or world events or who knows what calamities are anchored in literal future projections?
No, I don't.
That's clear.